everyone, and welcome to the wait. I'm not saying Woman's Cave anymore. Let me think. Oh, I remember. I am saying the actual name of my podcast. Welcome to And I Thought Podcast. Go figure. It's been 7 years, and I finally decided to introduce the podcast by its name. I mean, just imagine the, oh my goodness, the brightness of this thought when I figured that out by its name. That way people could find it. Anyway, moving on. And you're not really interested in what I have to say anyway, because I mean, as a narcissist, I can always talk about myself for forever, including this one strand of hair that won't go where it's supposed to. I'm Winona, by the way. I remember to introduce myself. High five to me. Hold on. Semi-professional today. Kind of weird. But you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. So wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having me today. My name is Hope Gibbs, and I am the debut novelist of Where the Grass Grows Blue, which is a contemporary women's romance. 3 things about me. I grew up in Kentucky. I'm a mother of 5 children, and this is my debut novel. So again, thank you for having me.
So my first question, of course, since this is your debut novel, I have to ask everyone, what are the challenges of sitting down to write that first, like, hundreds of pages?
Well, actually, I didn't sit down to write a book. I was going through kind of like a little midlife crisis. 2 of my children were already leaving for college, and I started thinking, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What's going to be my next chapter? Because I had been a stay-at-home mom for almost 20 years at that point. So I started journaling, and I hated it because I didn't care what I thought. I didn't want to write down my fears. And before I knew it, I had started creating this character who ended up being my protagonist named Penny Crenshaw, who is the star of my book. And before I knew it, I had 28 more chapters and an epilogue. So then that's kind of how I started writing. I kind of stumbled into it.
Ooh. Follow up. Are you going to write another one?
Actually, I am in my last chapter of my 2nd book, and I already have my 3rd book mapped out. I'm plotting it out as we speak.
Oh, this sounds marvelous. Can you tell us a bit about your book? Just a little synopsis so we can all be like, gotta read that.
Okay, so Where the Grass Grows Blue is one woman's journey to either accept her past by embracing the power of forgiveness or risk losing a second chance at love in a small Kentucky town. So that's kind of like a little quick synopsis of my book, but it is set in Kentucky. It's called Where the Grass Grows Blue. Kentucky is known as the bluegrass state. So there's a lot of food, Southern food, quirky characters, because my character has to go back home to her small town of Kentucky after being gone for 20 years. She lives in Atlanta at the beginning, and she finds out her husband's cheating on her. He divorces her. She's a single mom, and her grandmother dies and gives her a house in Kentucky, and she has to go back. But she doesn't want to, because the person who she loved, the person who was the keeper of her darkest secrets and protector of her soul, but shattered her heart, still lives there. And naturally, I'm sure you are going to guess they're going to bump into each other.
It's a small town. Everyone bumps into everyone.
Absolutely. I grew up in a small town, so I get it.
So I moved to a small area, and I go shopping, and they're like, I see you here all the time. I don't know who you are. But they're sure as nice as all get out and talking, and they tell me about their family's family, and I think it's wonderful, but it's very different.
It is. It's very different.
All right. So is this the same characters that we're looking forward to, like, extending their universe in the 2nd book, or do we write a whole new book?
No, when we say goodbye to Penny, we say goodbye to Penny. So my 2nd book is going to take place in Nashville, and it's about a circle of friends who are kind of rocked. The world is rocked when their best friend has passed away suddenly and under mysterious terms. And as they're trying to figure out, to deal with their own loss, they're starting to figure out her life was not that perfect. And they start finding out, did they really know this woman at all? So I'm almost finished with that book, but all of my books are going to take place in the South. I am a Southern writer. I want to showcase the place that I grew up and the place that I still live. So
definitely, not to mention the food.
The food. And in my book, Where the Grass Grows Blue, I talk a lot about food. There's also a church potluck. I grew up in a small Baptist church, and I just remember all of those, the vegetables and the salads that are not like green salads. They're like cream cheese and sugar and all that. and fried chicken and all that. So it's a very much, it's a potluck that's been thrown in Penny's honor. And she is not someone who likes the spotlight on her, but she loves it because food is welcoming. It's a community. It unites us.
How did you decide on how you wanted to publish this book?
So I really didn't know what I was doing when I started my querying, when I put out my letters. I started in 2021 in the summer. And by December, I had a deal with Red Adept. They're a small press. And then Red Adept Publishing, they put my book out there, and for audiobook rights, and Blackstone acquired my audio rights. So originally, I only thought there were two ways to do it, either self or traditional, but there are a lot of other ways that you can publish a book. There's hybrid publishing. There is small press, which is like traditional publishing, but much smaller, more of a boutique kind of press.
So you have a small press, correct?
I'm with a small press, Red Adept, and my audio rights is with Blackstone Audio. And all of my book will be coming out on May 16th. So you can get it in paperback, you can get it on your Kindle, or you can get it in the audio version.
Oh, I am so excited to read this book. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Southern food anywhere. And of horses with Kentucky Derby. I know I'm being very stereotypical with Kentucky right now. I apologize for that.
Well, it's funny that you said that, because I just wrote a blog to put on my website about the Kentucky Derby, because it is a big deal in my state. And so I did 3 recipes that you must have for tomorrow. And one of them was, of course, the mint julep, but I do it with a twist. So
a twist of lime?
No, I put champagne and blackberries in my mint julep because I am from Kentucky. I love Kentucky, but I'm not a big bourbon fan, although I love to cook with it. I make a mean bourbon ball at Christmas, but I don't like a mint julep. But if you add champagne and this blackberry puree, it is fabulous.
I'd actually would drink that.
Well, then you have to go to my website tomorrow and you can see my blog.
Yes, thank you. So tell everyone where that blog is so we can all go to the website.
You can follow me. It's authorhopegibbs.com. And I'm also on Facebook. I am on Instagram and on Twitter and TikTok. My daughter talked me into TikTok last year. I still don't quite understand it, but I'm trying. So, and again, Hope Gibbs, you can put me in there and it will pop up.
What was the learning curve like for using social media as an author?
Well, I only did social media to post things about my children because, I have 5 kids, put, all their activities, but then I had to realize how to use it for myself. And it was a learning curve because I signed my deal in December of 2022 or 2021. And I knew the entire year of 2022, I wasn't going to have a book because it takes that long. Traditional publishing, to get a book out with all the edits and the cover art and the layout, it takes a long time. So how was I going to, make someone want to follow me? So I started reviewing books and I started putting that up there. And then I started doing things that were kind of related to my book without people knowing it, like recipes or little facts about Kentucky. And I really engaged other Bookstagram people, and I also engaged authors. And I went from having maybe 200 people that were my friends, and now I've got 2,500 followers on Instagram because I engage. You have to engage if you want to try to get a footing in Instagram. And I learned how to do reels. That was fun.
That is amazing. One more time, because now I'm actually wrapping it up. I know it felt like I was wrapping it up when I asked that question, like, where is your blog? I was just like, oh, she'll give me the blog. I'll wrap everything up at the end. But now that I'm wrapping things up for real, can you tell us one more time where we can find out the information about your blog, follow you on Instagram, and definitely pick up this book on May 16th?
So here's the book. I just want to show the cover, Blue Hydrangeas. Love it. Again, it's authorhopegibbs.com, or you can just put in Where the Grass Grows Blue. It's going to be sold on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, anywhere you can buy books. Even Walmart is carrying the audiobook. So
thank you so much for being here with us today, Hope. It has been an absolute pleasure to learn more about Kentucky, so I don't have stereotypical knowledge anymore.
Thank you. And I do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy the Derby tomorrow.
Oh, I have my hat already. So yeah, I definitely will. And so I'm going to tell you where you can find out more information about Winona and Jade, the Anti-Thought Ladies, because I didn't do it at the beginning. You can find out everything you want to know about your ladies at www.andithoughladies.com. You can go down to the bottom of the page, no longer the middle of the page, but the bottom of the page, and you can see the charities that we proudly support. We ask that you give a little time and support them as well. That does not mean that we have to give them money. You can give them information. You can give them your energy. These things don't cost. And we thank you in advance for that. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.